Hey guys, AK Cobra here. Welcome to the Snake Pit. Today we're going to talk about this guy, the Eachine Falcon 180. This is one of the newer quads in the Eachine line. It was released maybe a couple of months ago along with the Blade 185. This guy is the little brother to this guy, the Falcon 250, that I reviewed a few months ago. Now I want to go on record right off the bat as saying I absolutely love this quad. And the reason I want to say that is because when I did my review of the Falcon 250 a few months ago, I got a few comments that I was coming off kind of negative about the quad. I am not negative about these Eachine quads at all. I think they're great machines for the money. I think you have to understand what you're buying. You're not paying $500 for a Vortex here. This one is $115 for the PNF version with the Seriously Pro flight controller. I think the Falcon is about $270. I don't remember, but I mean they're dirt cheap, and for that money you're getting good hardware. It's all assembled. But the reason I kind of focus on the problems is I want to make sure that new pilots that are just getting into the hobby understand what they're getting into if they buy one of these quads. They say they're ready to fly, but trust me, these quads are not ready to fly out of the box. Unless you're using the grossest, widest definition of ready to fly as being you can charge your battery, plug it in, give it some power, and it will go up in the air. In that sense, yes, it's ready to fly, but in terms of being a good flight experience and flying well, no. They need some work. I'll tell you some of the things that you have to do with this guy here, the 180. First off, especially with the ready to fly version, it comes with the well, actually, it's not so much the ready to fly version. With the Seriously Pro version, it comes with the USB. I don't know if you can see it in there, but the USB port is right down in there. Okay, so it's facing out the back like that. So it's very difficult to get to. And with the plug-and fly version, it's not so bad because there's nothing in the way. So what I did is I made a little tool. See if I can find it here. I don't know if you can see that. I just made a little tool for with a USB cable. I put it on a popsicle stick so I could just shove it in there and make the connection. And what a lot of guys are doing, they're taking this thing apart. They have to take this bottom plate off. There's 4 screws there, and then 4 additional screws to remove the flight controller, and then rotating it so that the USB port is sticking out the side. And then you also have to go into clean flight. Tell Clean Flight that you rotated the flight controller 90 degrees or it's just going to have all kinds of problems. I know one gentleman did a review on it, and he did that, and he didn't put it in Clean Flight, and he tried to fly it, and it just flopped over like a fish. So you have to make sure you do that if you do rotate the flight controller. Another problem with the Ready to Fly version is they just mount the components in weird ways. Now this one here, this was my own VTX antenna, and as you can see I've got it mounted here, sticking out the top. So that's kind of how it's supposed to be mounted. The way Eachine mounted it is it's sticking out the back like that, so the antenna is kind of sticking that way. That creates some problems. For one thing, it makes it impossible to get to the USB port without taking the thing apart. So if you bought the USB, if you bought the Seriously Pro Ready to Fly version, you're going to have to take it apart to get to the USB at all. But another problem is the way these things radiate a signal is it kind of goes out like that. Okay, and there's a hole right at the top here. Okay, if you ever notice when you're flying, if you fly directly over yourself, you might get some signal drop out and break up, and that's because the way these antennas radiate the signal. It goes around like that and up at the top. Just think of like the eye of the storm. Okay, there's a weak signal right at the top here. So that's fine if you've got it mounted like this and the hole is pointing straight up like that. If you've got the antenna mounted like that, then the hole is pointing directly where you might want to get signal. So if it's pointing that way, and the quad's flying this way or toward you, you might be right in the hole. So you might fly out a couple of 100 meters, and you're flying back and forth, and everything is fine. And you turn around to come home, and all of a sudden you lose your video because you're flying right into the hole at that point. So it's just not the proper way to mount one of these VTX antennas. Another thing they tend to do that I don't like is, you can't really see it on this because I've got a receiver with smaller antennas, but you can see it on this one. I've got longer antennas, and what I did is I just put a couple of zip ties on there, and to mount the antennas in a V configuration. I need to retape these guys. And what that does, it gives you the best possible signal coverage, and you get some diversity because the antennas are split apart, and the way these signals come in, as long as you've got your antenna mounted, you'll get the best possible signal coverage that way. The way Eachine does it is they just leave the antennas hanging out the back like a dog's tail. And I actually saw one guy did a video, and he was flying his quad, and he just got a mysterious control dropout. And he wasn't that far away. Should have been well within the range of the radio. And I'd be willing to bet, and I even put a comment on his video, that the problem was he left the antennas mounted the way it was, and he just had signal dropout. If you mount it like this, you'll get much better coverage. And again, it's just one of these frustrating things that, the thing that's missing with these quads, to be perfectly honest, is attention to detail. The hardware is good, you've got everything you need to fly, but they just don't seem to go the extra mile to tidy it all up and make a nice package. This guy's, it's not tuned well out of the box. The radio configuration is all messed up. The problem with the USB port. There's just a lot of things they could do better to make life easier for a new flyer that they just don't do. It's not really anything that would add any cost to the quad either. It's just taking a little bit of time, take an extra 10 or 15 minutes to work on the quad to get it in a better condition for a new flyer, and they just don't do it. So I just want to make sure that you understand what you're getting with this. Once you get it set up the way you want, like this guy here, I've done some work on the PIDs. I've got the PIDs the way I want them. I got everything mounted where I've got I got a really nice camera in there. The camera's great, and I absolutely love this quad. This is my favorite quad right now. Whenever I go flying, I typically take 2 or 3 quads with me. This is always one of them. I just love flying this quad. I just bought 4 new batteries for it. I bought some Bolt HV batteries, 1300s, and I'm getting 5 minutes of hard flying out of it, out of each battery, and I love it. It's just a blast. But again, you're not going to take it out of the box, charge the battery, and fly it. You've got to expect to roll up your sleeves and do some stuff to this quad. Couple of other minor things. This actually comes with a LED strip here, and it's just, I don't know if you can see that on the camera. That's the only thing holding it on, is the pins that it connects to. So needless to say, it fell off, and I got lucky and I found it when I was cutting the grass, but I just left it off. And honestly, and it also comes with some legs that I took off because they're very flimsy legs, and the first time you have a hard landing, they're going to break off anyway, so I just took them off. And I'm not crazy about landing directly on the PDB like that, but I don't really think it'll cause any problems either, as long as you don't come down like, just drop it like a rock. So as long as you land in grass and have soft landings, I don't think that'll be a problem. But anyway, bottom line, this is a fantastic quad once you get it configured and tuned. It's not a fantastic quad right out of the box. So if you buy it, be prepared to get on RC groups and do some research, or get some help from somebody that's more experienced. Or if you already know what you're doing, then great, go for it. It's for $115. You can't go wrong. But if if you're a new flyer, this is not for you. You want something. This would actually probably be a better choice. This is the whole Eachine family here. This is the Racer. This is a good beginner quad. It's not too bad out of the box. It needs some tuning, but there's plenty of support, plenty of PIDs available for it online. You don't really have to go in and figure it out yourself. So this guy is really a good place to start, I think, if you're a new flyer. If you're looking for a second or third quad and you're comfortable getting it to clean flight and doing some stuff and taking it apart and rearranging things, for 115 bucks, this thing is absolutely fantastic. So anyway, that's our look at the Falcon 180. I hope you enjoyed the review, and stay tuned for more coming. Bye.